All right, one of the most important topics, I believe, of why people don't feel well, can't lose weight, brain fog, digestive issues, thyroid problems, dementia. I mean, I can keep going down a list. And really, it's about getting to where the problem is. I always say you don't get well until you fix the cell, but you don't get well until you get rid of the cause. Which brings me to this topic, which is, by the way, going to be a 5-part series. That's how important it is. Because look, most of the questions I get are people looking for answers for all those things and more that I mentioned. And I fear this. Most people are downstream chasing hormone problems. I did. I was looking for my thyroid answer. It was malfunctioning, no doubt, as I had dry skin, my hair started falling out, and no doubt I couldn't lose weight. So those are issues. Adrenals, I couldn't adapt to any stress, let alone crying kids. Forget it. So my fear is that people are spending too much time downstream when there's an answer upstream. Well, when we look at why people don't feel well, it is in fact a cellular issue. But I do make the point, you have to fix the cell to get well, but ultimately you have to detox the cell to get well. To do that, cellular detox, and where real detox is, there's my 5R's of how you do that. Simple as that. How do you detox a cell or fix a cell? Well, I have to tell a brief story because I was on an airplane coming back from lecturing doctors, not the public, and I was very frustrated because I could tell they didn't get it. I was just so excited about the fact that they needed this information to change lives in their practice, and I was bringing it to them. But I've lectured long enough to know when I'm losing people, and they didn't get it. So I was literally praying about that on the airplane ride because I knew how important the information is. And I was lost in other thought, and then all of a sudden things started popping into my brain. This is the way God speaks to me. And I picked up my notebook out of my bag, and I started jotting down the roadmap of how you truly detox and fix a cell. And birthed was the 5R's. And I have to say that, look, I'm not smart enough to come up with it. I have been in the presence of very, very smart scientists, far brighter than me. And they do the same thing. They say, listen, or I should say they say the same thing. They say, okay, how did you come up with that? Because ultimately, that is exactly what's going wrong with people today. And that's exactly what real detox is. And I say, look, it just came. Anyway, so the 5R's, I'm going to do a 5-part series. I don't need you to understand the science of it, but I want you to understand this. Because if you get just a grasp of this, it's going to change the way you think. It's going to change your course on what you need to do to live longer healthy and perhaps even get your life back. So let's jump right in. R number 1. All right, remove the source. It sounds obvious. I already made the argument if you don't remove the cause, you're not changing anything. I think one of my big frustrations today with functional medicine, alternative medicine, everyone's running a lot of expensive tests, genetic tests, this test, gut tests, all of it. And look, there's a time and a place, obviously, but I can tell you that all the tests I ran, and believe me, I went far over my budget that I didn't have in testing. None of it got me well, and rarely did it really even make an impact. So what did get me well? It was the testing, I would say, looking for causative factors or getting upstream to the cause, which can really be found by a very good history. But functional medicine, alternative medicine, they're running these expensive tests. And what they're doing is just pushing a lot of supplements on people. And again, there's a time and a place, just like medication. However, if you don't remove the cause, you won't get well. Okay, the 3 big ones that I find people miss, the best of the best miss. People miss when they're evaluating even their own condition. Number 1, heavy metals. Now, okay, I know that some of you go, okay, yeah, someone told me I have heavy metals. They do a detox for 3 months. Now, it's years, not months. These heavy metals bioaccumulate. That means they're stored in your deep tissue, and it's years, not months. What I teach doctors I train, and even the people that I help myself and coach, is I teach them the process so they can do it long enough to actually make a difference, a lasting difference. So there's no 3-month, 6-month heavy metal detox and now you're done. No, it doesn't work that way. So through this, you'll have a better understanding of that. And if you watch my videos, you'll get a better grasp of that. And by the way, make sure you see all the videos in this series, because that's the point, is all of this plays in together. Every one of these lessons, every one of the R's is how you're going to get your life back. So we need to get upstream to these causative factors, and heavy metals being one of them. Here's the bigger problem, is that there's the problem with the heavy metals is where they are in the body, and it's in the brain. So when you have hormone problems, when you don't feel well, when you have major fatigue, brain fog, all those things I mentioned, the problem's what's in the brain. There's really only one way that we know of today to really get these heavy metals out of the brain. Future topic, stay tuned, of how to do that. So right now I just want you to understand that these are the hidden factors. Number 2, hidden infections, meaning that if you have a jaw infection from a root canal, from where a wisdom tooth or a tooth was extracted, you have about an 86-87% chance that there's an infection there, that it may not even be why you got sick, but you won't get well until you deal with that infection appropriately. So hidden cause. Root canals, yeah, they're all toxic. They all have these anaerobic bacteria. And by the way, Lyme disease, parasites, anaerobic bacteria we find in these infections. So then it causes hidden infections. It causes infections throughout your body. And here's again, another mistake that a lot of alternative doctors make, is they're just trying to kill infections. I chased Candida, I chased Lyme, I chased all of these things. I had Lyme, I had Epstein-Barr, I had cytomegalovirus, and I had parasites. All of which, with the best protocols, I couldn't get rid of until I got rid of the big causative factors stored in my tissues. And then my immune system came up, and then I was able to actually get rid of those infections. And by the way, you really never get rid of them. If I tested today, I still have Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus, and even Lyme, but they're inactive. So when we look at a test, it's called an IgG, not important, but that means you had an infection, but your body's dealing with it. I don't have an IgM reaction, which is an active infection any longer. So we have to evaluate those. And lastly, mold. You don't see mold, and what you see in your shower corner, yeah, that's not the mold that makes you sick. It's the stuff behind the walls, under floors, in the attics, the stuff you don't see. And by the way, it's not an allergy. This is biotoxic illness. These toxins are so strong that literally they cause inflammation of the cells. They disrupt your hormone receptors. They cause things like weight loss resistance. They cause things like light sensitivity, can't see at night. They cause sudden weight gain. They cause frequent urination, anxiety. Yeah, all of that is very common with mold. So every one of those hidden causes, if you will, have different symptoms that go along with it, and you have to be aware of that. But the point I want to make on this video is that you have to do a very good job of looking for those hidden causes. Now, that doesn't mean that your laundry detergent doesn't play a role, because there's 6 neurotoxins in the average laundry detergent. Oh, fabric softener, it's all neurotoxic, horrible. Fragrances, all of the stuff that we plug into our walls to cover up scents, I mean, all of those things are playing a role. Oh, and by the way, glyphosate being sprayed on all of our food. Oh yeah, according to a 2012 study, MIT study actually, showed that glyphosate chemical, that's the active ingredient in Roundup that's being sprayed on our food, is basically allowing those 3 that I just mentioned, hidden toxins, to cross deeper in the brain. Okay, so that's a start. On the next video, you will learn about R number 2, possibly the most important of all, and that's regenerating your cell membranes. You're going to learn what fats, surprising, that you're ingesting that could be causing your membrane and your cells to not function properly and therefore shut down all your detox. You're also going to learn what you can do right away and fats that are going to stun you on what you need to add to your diet. So every video, I'm going to give 3 biohacks that you need to do to help these 5 R's. I'm also going to give you 3 dietary changes, or not 3, I'm going to give you. Okay, Every week, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do right away that I know are going to make a difference. Number 1, I'm going to give you certain supplements that I've either developed or discovered will help each of these R's and therefore your cellular health and detox. Number 2, I'm going to give you my favorite biohacks. These are things that will surprise you, like light therapies, different things that will make a difference immediately. And thirdly, I'm going to give you the dietary tip that you can do right away that'll make a difference in each of these R's. So next week, we're going to discover the cell membrane, the importance of it, and what fats you should be eating and should be avoiding. See you then.